What's up everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Eric and I'm a professional photographer that is based out of San Francisco, California. And today we're going to be going over one of the oldest films that I shot that was buried in my film refrigerator. And that is this film here, which is the TriX Pan Film 400 from no other than Kodak. This right here expired in 1987, which is just 3 years before I was born. And the last expired film I shot was, I believe, from 1994. And I am really excited to show you the images because I already shot the roll and scanned it. Yes, this is what the film looked like after I developed it, dried it, and scanned it. It is highly curly, and that is one of the downsides of shooting film that is this old, and we'll go into all of that as we continue on with this episode. So I was originally saving this for a special occasion. Long behold, so many special occasions passed. It was buried on the bottom of my film refrigerator, and I decided to just go with it and shoot it, because when you shoot expired film, you really don't know if it's even going to work. And the last thing I kind of thought about was going on a cool trip, shooting this, and then having nothing on my image, nothing on my roll at all, which would be highly disappointing. So I decided just to stick this in my Pentax K1000 and hit the streets of San Francisco and got some pretty cool images. If you are someone that's planning to shoot expired film, just keep in mind you are kind of playing with luck, because you don't really know how the film was stored, how it was handled, where it was at. It's just a lot of, what ifs. And of course, when you go on eBay, people are going to say it's been in a refrigerator, but can you really trust that this has been in a refrigerator for 30 plus years? For all you know, it could have been in an attic that is steaming hot or a basement that is completely humid. So just keep that in mind. This is kind of a film that you take out to have fun with, not really do anything serious. And the biggest reasons people like expired film is just because of the aesthetics it gives. For black and white film, you get very grungy, exaggerated grain, and just very interesting images. With expired color film, you get very different results, and this is where it gets really sketchy, because I hate expired color film because you really don't know what layer has degraded the most. I don't know if it's just my luck, but every time I shoot expired color film, my images are always really blue or really red, and I found out later why that is. But with color film, it's always a bit of a risk because of the different types of layers that are in color film. Color film has, I believe, a yellow, I think it's like a blue layer, a yellow layer, a red layer, and all these layers kind of degrade different as time passes. That's one of the reasons I don't shoot expired color film, so it's one of the reasons I jumped over to expired black and white film. This one right here is really interesting and all. It has 20 exposures, which is very unique for a film. A lot of us are so used to having 24, 36. I found out that back in the day, like in the late 70s, early 80s, even late 80s, a lot of Kodak came in 20, which was kind of like the standard before they moved to 24, which I think is pretty interesting. I can't imagine having to shoot a roll of 20 now. I kind of went through this kind of quick. I think I went through this roll probably in about 2 hours. So I would probably have to carry a ton of film if I was shooting film back in the day. For shooting expired film, there is some rules to follow to make sure you get working images. Rule number 1 with black and white film: if you are shooting expired black and white film, for every 20 years that your film has expired, you're going to reduce it by 1 stop. So this right here is coming up on 40 years. We're about to hit, I believe, 36 years with this film. And I shot it at ISO 200, which is kind of the 20-year mark. You could probably get away with shooting it at ISO 100, but the images came out at pretty good. It came out pretty good at ISO 200, which I think was a good choice. And with color film, if you're planning to shoot expired color film, for every 10 years that the film expires, you're gonna drop it down 1 stop. So if this was expired color film, we'd be shooting it at ISO 50. And one of the reasons you reduce the stops is because as film ages, it becomes less and less sensitive to light. So you want to make up for that by just giving it a little bit of extra light so you can get a working image. When it comes down to color film, just keep in mind that all the layers that are in the film degrade very, very differently, and you could have very interesting images. So just keep that in mind. With black and white, it's very simple. It's just 1 silver layer. That's pretty much it. and it degrades a lot slower, and it gives you, I believe, a little bit of more reliable results, and that's all going to depend on how the film was stored. So here's the walk that I took in San Francisco. I'm super excited to show you this roll, and yes, this is the roll that's right here. You can see how curly it came out after I developed and scanned it, and of course this will be one of the downsides of shooting really old film. It's been curled up for 36 years, and getting this straight is going to be quite a task, but it scanned pretty well and the images came out great. So let's hit the streets of San Francisco and show you what I managed to capture. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. I have so much cool content coming out. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for sticking around. See ya.